Hello and welcome back to another episode of Chat with Brandy. This is episode number 7. I hope you guys all had a fabulous Halloween, and if you missed my last episode, I died and came back to life, so you might be interested in checking that out. You can go to my videos tab on my Facebook page to see it there. So this week we are going to be chatting about my favorite apps. So this is actually part 1 of a 2-part series. This week we're going to kind of go into the personal use apps, and then next week we'll talk more about business management apps. So instead of providing like a top 10 list or something like that, I'm actually going to break down the apps into 4 different categories. But my very favorite app will be the last app that I talk about. So make sure that you stay tuned for the end of the video in order to see my very favorite app. So we're going to talk about 4 categories today. So saving on shopping, personal finance, personal growth and development, and then time management. So I also, just before we kind of get into it, I just want to mention that I am not affiliated in any way for any of these apps. So you downloading them or using them will not make me any money. I just love them, I use them, and I want to share that love. So I hope that you guys find them useful. Okay, so we're going to get into it. We're going to start with saving on shopping. So the 3 apps we're going to talk about here, and hopefully you can see it there. So Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace, and the Flip app. So we're going to get into Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace are very similar. They're both like free. They work for all platforms and they're super easy to use. They're both like a classified type app. So it's kind of like people use it to buy and sell used items, kind of like an online garage sale. So I'm going to go ahead and show you those now. All right, so the Kijiji app, I love to use this for shopping as well as selling. So Kijiji, I think, is really popular here in Alberta. I'm not sure if it's as popular in other provinces, but basically you can use Kijiji to purchase or to search for anything kind of in your area. So for example, if I was looking for a dry erase board, so instead of just going to Staples and buying one brand new, there may be one that's going to work great for me on here that I'm going to be able to save a little bit of money on. So you can refine it and sort it by nearest to me, cheapest, most expensive. I typically like to look at things that are the closest to me because I don't usually like to drive across the city to get this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a really good source for getting stuff cheaper, especially for those of you that have kids. Any kind of, shoes or clothing, that kind of thing, they just grow out of it so fast. But as you can see on Kijiji, they have categories for cars and vehicles, real estate, jobs, and then basically any category that you could think of in buy and sell. So yeah, tons of stuff on here. The other thing that I use Kijiji for is selling stuff when I'm done with it. So as you can see right now, I have listed on here a baby owl costume and some snow tires that don't fit my vehicle. So sometimes that's a good way to get a little bit of the cash recouped from purchases as well. I know another really popular one that seems to almost be overtaking Kijiji is Facebook Marketplace. And very similarly, you can sort by category. On here, they have, again, the same sort of thing, vehicles, rentals, jobs, and then your local listings. So, and it breaks it down all by category, or you can just do an actual search. So if you were looking for size 8 winter boots, for example, it would show you everything. And again, you can choose how far away from your house you want to look at. So you could look at all of these, and that's a really good way to do it too. And again, you can also use this app to sell on there as well. Oh, hello. Okay, so that was the Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace apps. The next one I'm going to show you is Flip. And this is, again, it's free to use, free to download, and I believe it should be available for Android and iPhone. So here we go. Okay, so the next app that we're going to go into is the Flip app. So this is Flip with 2 P's. So this is a flyer app. So essentially when you first come into it, you can see, and I've used the app, so I have gone and I guess hearted or favorited the stores that I frequent. So you can do that as well, and you'll see it under this heart tab, all of your flyers in one spot. Now, this is not where it ends. Like already this is really convenient, but this is not where it ends. So you can also look at stores that are nearby you. Okay, see what they're up to. You can go by category up here. You see groceries, home, pharmacy, general merchandise, all that kind of stuff. The other really nice thing is you can actually search for items. So let's say, for example, you know you're out of ketchup. So you search ketchup and see what stores have ketchup on sale this week. So you could choose right from here, right from this one little dashboard, where the best deal is. This is also really good to use if you do price matching. Instead of bringing all the flyers with you, you could just bring your app. So the other nice thing about this app, for those of you that like to make a shopping list, which I do recommend, because I recommend making lists for everything, you can clip the items right to your shopping list. So let's say in this example, I've chosen this Heinz ketchup. Now I can go to my shopping list and you'll see it right here. And I'll show you from the front page. You see right along the bottom, it says browse, search, and shopping list. So you can go to your shopping list and you'd see all your clippings there. The other thing you can do is search for a specific store. So if you don't have it right on your dashboard, but you know you want to look at the Jysk flyer, for example. Oh, it's going to be slow. So then you could just look and go into that specific flyer. Whoops, I was muted. Hi. Okay, so that is it for the Saving on Shopping apps. However, there is one little bonus that I have for you. This is not an app, but it's a website for those of you that like to shop online. It's called retailmenot.ca, and it is my favorite website for online shopping, and I'll just show you exactly what it does here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I use retailmenot.ca. So in this example, I went to Bath & Body Works and I added a bunch of things to my cart. And you can see that my order total is $79.74. And you can see that there's a box there for a promotion code. So I would never, ever purchase this without checking first for a promotion code. So what I would do is I'm going to go to the retailmenot.ca website and search for Bath & Body Works. And then here you can see the list of a whole bunch of codes with varying rates of success. So typically the best ones are at the top in terms of what works. So this one at the very top, I'm seeing get $10 off your $30 plus purchase with this promo code. So I'm going to choose that one, and it just asks you to reveal the code. So I can see that it says THRCHR, and it also should have copied that code for me. So now it took me right back to the Bath & Body Works website. I'm going to go into my cart again, and I'm going to apply the code. So I should be able to just paste it in, apply it, and it worked. So I got $10 off. Whoops. I got $10 off my orders. Right? Like, wasn't that amazing? Okay, so that's everything for Saving on Shopping. So you'll get to see my face for a little bit longer here. We're going to talk about budgeting apps. So this one is a little bit of a cheat because I don't actually use a budgeting app. I use a spreadsheet. I have for years. I'm kind of set in my ways that way. But in my personal budgeting video, which was episode 4, I mentioned 2 budgeting apps on there. So we will talk about these right now. So they're Mint and YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. They're both available for all platforms. They both allow you to connect your bank account so that it can automatically download the transactions in there for you, or you can manually enter transactions if you use cash a lot. They both have they're both extremely popular. So they both have a massive amount of support online, like through forums, YouTube channels, that kind of thing. I think based on my research that YNAB has a slight edge for ease of use. But whether or not that's worth the monthly charge or not is up to you, because Mint is completely free And YNAB is $7 US a month after the I think it's like a 34-day trial. So what I would suggest is trial them both and see which one you like more, and then because it will just be a personal preference, right? Okay, so next up, we are going to talk about personal growth and development apps. Okay, so here we have a podcast. So I put the iTunes podcast there, because I'm an iPhone user. So it should just be automatically on your phone. Like if you search podcasts, that app should already be on there. But for Android users, I think Stitcher is probably a good option for you. So I specifically use podcasts for business and personal development kind of stuff. But there's very likely a podcast out there for basically any interest that you can think of. And it's a great way to learn something while you're on the go or while you're doing something else. So I listen to podcasts while I'm driving. I listen while I'm doing laundry, dishes, sometimes while I'm working, kind of depending on what I'm doing, how much I need to sort of concentrate or not. I also listen to my podcasts and some audiobooks on 1.5 speed. I know that's not for everybody, but I like to kind of get through it a little bit quicker, and I don't mind the like speedy voices. So that's a tip for you as well. For reading books, audiobooks, ebooks, I know there's Audible, but I use just the free app. So I am an Edmonton Public Library card holder. If you live in Edmonton, the card is free. So the app is super nice because you can put holds on books, video games, DVDs, anything they have. They'll grab it for you, put it on the shelf. You can just run in once a week and grab it. It's a huge time saver. But also they have audiobooks on there that you can download as well. The other one, if you are not in Edmonton, is Hoopla, where you should see that blue box below, where you can borrow 5 titles a month completely free, and they have videos, music, and books. Then the last one in this category is Udemy. So this is, again, the app is free. It's available for all platforms, and it is basically an online course kind of hub. So each course has a different cost associated. A lot of them, I think most of them are around $16, but there are free ones on there as well, and it's on basically anything you can imagine. So I'm going to show you that here now.
Okay, so let's take a look at Udemy. So this is just the app of Udemy. You can certainly look at it on desktop, but essentially there are some free on here. There are some free courses on here for sure, but most of them I find are in the $15 to $17 range. But the really nice thing is, okay, so let's say you wanted to do an Excel course. The really nice thing is that you will get access to the course forever. It's not like a course that you only have for a certain amount of time. You end up getting quizzes, support files, articles, all kinds of things. And the courses that I've taken have been really good. They're all reviewed as well. So you can see how many people have reviewed it and the star reviews that they get. And there's just so many, there's pretty much anything you can think of on here. So let's say you wanted to know more about Facebook marketing, for example. You're going to find a million of them in here. But even if it's just personal stuff, like you want to learn about cooking. So there's a ton in here, right? There's a ton of different, pretty much anything that you could really think of, someone has loaded a course on here. So I don't know. I really love it. I think it's a really good low cost option for people like me who are lifelong learners and really like to learn things. Of course, it's not going to give you actual college credit or anything like that. But if it's for something like Feng Shui or cooking, right, you're just trying to grow personally. So I think it's a really great resource for that.
Hey. So Asiva asked if I think she's talking about the Mint and the YNAB budgeting apps, if they are a security risk to have your bank account connected. So you would have to look at the agreement that you have with your bank, because some of them for sure have an issue with you supplying your credentials, I guess, to a third party. And that could cancel the insurance that they have on your bank account. As far as it being a security risk, in terms of the actual software company being able to steal from you or whatnot, I think that both Mint and YNAB are such well-established and big companies that personally wouldn't be a concern for me. But I think, yeah, always looking at your agreement that you have with your bank in regards to your bank accounts is always a good idea. Okay, so then we're gonna get into the last category, which is time management, and has my absolute favorite app in it. So let's get over to time management. Okay, so we're gonna discuss kind of 3 apps in this category. So the first one is strictly for iPhones, and it is the iPhone, I think it's called the Screen Time tool. And this is fairly new, and it is amazing. I'm just gonna show you this right now.
Okay, guys, the time tracker. So if you have a newer phone, I believe, than this iPhone 6, you should have access to this. So you swipe left from your home screen and you're going to see the screen time here. So you can go into here and this is going to show you, I love this feature. It's going to show you where you spend the most time, in what apps you're spending time, how much time overall you're spending on screen time. You can kind of show the categories of which one you're in. There's also, it shows you also the amount of notifications you get. And I believe there's also a way that you can, yes, you can schedule time that you're away from the screen. So if you really are like, you know what, I can't keep myself away from my phone, you can schedule it so it's actual downtime. And then you can also set time limits for your app. So if you're like, I only want to spend an hour on Facebook today, that's all it's going to allow you to do. This is also a really good resource for those of you that have kids that have their own phones. And yeah, I think that this is a really good addition that the iPhone has done. Now, I believe, so obviously this is only the iPhone, okay? I believe that the Android has something you can use. I think it's called Rescue Time.
Okay, so now, and I was just gonna say as well, I'm not an Android user, so I've never used that Rescue Time app, but Google tells me that it's similar. So your mileage may vary, but hopefully that works out for you. And now we have Things 3, which is by far my favorite app. And it's kind of a calendar, a to-do list, reminders, like a list app, a project management, client contact management. It's a logbook, all wrapped up into one thing. So I'm going to show you that now.
Okay, guys, you have waited long enough for my absolute favorite app that I'm going to show you. So this is a Things 3 app. You can see right now that there's 4 notifications there. That's because I still have 4 things on my to-do list for today. So in here, you can see that it pops straight up onto my today's list. So you have these nice little check boxes that you can check off when you're done. And also, there's a whole bunch of things that I want to show you here. Okay, so first of all, in my list of things to do, I can move these around. So they're in any order that I want. You can see one is work to do, one is Facebook Live plan. I do that, and I'll show you a little bit later. Here you'll see the project management. I do that just to help me when I have a day that has a big list. It helps me kind of sort out my priorities. So for example, I might want to say, I need to get all my work to do things done before I get my marketing to do or school to do things done. So that's just a way for me to prioritize. Now in here, you can see, you can have a nice long list of things within a task, which is really helpful. You can also set a deadline on something. So I believe here. So you can, this is setting a reminder, sorry. So you can set a reminder so that it will actually, give you a buzz when it's time to come up. The deadline is here. So if you know that you have a specific deadline on something, you can actually add a deadline and it will show you right there 3 days left. So that's going to help you to prioritize it as well. You can also make things repeat. So for example, this one, make lunches. I have to do that every single weeknight, or actually my husband does it, but I remind him. So I would use that to repeat every day. So as soon as we make lunches tonight, I'm going to click this off and it will automatically go into my tomorrow's to-do list for me. Okay, so you can see that this is a calendar app. Like I can use it to go forward pages by days. I can also use it as a to-do list. Obviously, you saw I'm checking things off. When I've checked things off, they end up in my logbook, which is really useful to be able to see things that I've already completed. And then, of course, I have my projects here. So for School to Do, for example, I am very involved in the parent association at my kids' school. So I do a lot of tasks for them. So I like to kind of keep it in here. So the really nice thing in here is, okay, so you see all your logged items. So next year in September, I'm probably going to look back in here and go, okay, these are all of the things that I did in September last year. So which of these things am I going to have to repeat this year in September? So that's a really nice way to kind of set it and forget it. I also do use this for shopping lists. So I have my 3 different stores that I always go to with their respective items in there. And then from here, you can also set it to a date. So if I'm like, okay, I have to go to Walmart tomorrow, I can put it on tomorrow and it will show up in tomorrow's to-do list. I'm not going to show you this gifts one because it has a list of gifts that I bought for people, but I will use it to remind me of, okay, in July, I have to buy a birthday gift for this person, and this is the idea that I have to buy for this person. Or maybe I've already purchased it. Like for Christmas, I tend to buy things kind of throughout the year, but you forget about what you have bought. So I kind of use this as an inventory app as well. The other nice thing about this app is you can search. So if I'm like, okay, I know that I had to do something for grandma, but I don't know what day I put it on, I could put grandma here and it will show me what I need to do in there. And then the other nice thing is you can have a someday. So this one, I don't obviously have anything in here, but you could use it for setting goals. Thoughts that you have, like if you're the type of person that is always coming up with new ideas but don't have anywhere to write them down, use this app for it. I absolutely love this app. It is definitely the most life-changing app I have used in the past year. I'll kind of delve more into how I use it for business next week, but I use it as a client management tool as well. So it gives me reminders, and that has been a real game changer for me and my productivity and my time management. So I really hope that some of you can download this and use it. It is absolutely wonderful.
So the one kind of pitfall of that app is that it doesn't have the functionality for collaboration. So for example, if you wanted your spouse to be able to see the same calendar and you'd be able to send tasks to them, unfortunately it doesn't have that functionality yet. It doesn't matter that much all for me because we have a paper calendar in my house that I write down anything that pertains to my husband or my kids, so they just read it off there, and then all of my tasks are in my Things app. But I know that if that is something that's important to you, Google Calendars might be a really good option for you. And then next week, if you run a business and you have a team, I will be going over a couple of apps that will be helpful for that. Things 3 is a one-time buy software, which is super nice in the world of subscriptions these days. It's $10 US for the iPhone, which is like $13 or $14. And there's a Mac option as well, so you can have it on your computer, which I believe is around $50. Unfortunately, it is not available for Android yet. So I guess the next best option for you guys would be Google Calendar. As a little bonus, so we're all done with our apps, I just have a couple tips for you in this time management category because I know a lot of you were really interested in it. So here are my tips. So have all of your calendars together. So if you have a work calendar and a family calendar and a personal calendar, sync them all up so that they're all kind of I know in Google Calendars, again, you can layer your calendars or whatever you use, just have them all in one place because I think that's going to really help you with double booking yourself. And then it's just not as confusing. So then the other tip I have is bring your calendar with you everywhere. So if it's on an app on your phone, obviously that's super easy. But if you're still using a paper agenda, take it with you everywhere. Take it with you to drop the kids off to school, whatever, so that you're never wondering where that appointment went or, trying to store information in your head. Schedule everything. So especially when I'm in a really busy part of my year, one of my kind of golden rules of life is WSD, which is write, stuff down. Okay, so I schedule like workouts, cleaning my house, downtime before and after tasks that take a lot of energy. I schedule self-care, which might just be like a bath or like a massage or a chat with your friend. If you have an app that you can regularly repeat things like Things 3, you can say, okay, I clean the bathrooms on Wednesday, so then you can just have it repeat next Wednesday, so you don't have to think about it again, right? You can auto schedule, phone calls that you make to like your grandma or whatever. It's just a nice way to have all of your thoughts and tasks organized. So even for yearly tasks, like for example, house maintenance, we know that we turn off the outdoor taps every year in like October. So I would put that on my to-do list, and then as soon as I check it off, it's going into next October. So I don't have to think about it again. So you think of it once, and then it's forever going to remind you about it. And that is pretty much it for today. So next week, we're going to be looking at my favorite apps for business management. So customer service, project management, finances, invoicing, payroll, marketing software, all that kind of stuff. So if you own a business or you're thinking about starting a business, come back next week and we will chat about that. And other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful week and that you enjoy some of your new apps. Bye.